Get the bleach, the rubber gloves, hopefully some help from your insurance company. There's a state of emergency in Dane County this morning after a potential record-setting 24-hour rainfall.
Historic flooding leaves thousands of cancer patients and their families without free service this morning. I'm Josh Breiter live at a nonprofit in Middleton this morning where the damage is just starting to be surveyed.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 This Morning. A much drier, much sunnier, much nicer Wednesday, August 22nd.
Yeah, it's not hard to be nicer than it was over the last 48 hours, but this day is like spectacular in comparison.
The bar was low, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Well, we have gone well above that bar today. A beautiful day ahead. Your first alert weather forecast starts with a view of the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Looking a little hazy in Platteville this morning. As far as fog, visibility is not terrible. 2-mile visibility in Platteville. There is a little bit of fog developing through the Wisconsin River Valley. Otherwise, that's it. No issues with fog elsewhere across the area. Temperatures are starting in the 50s this morning. You'll feel the difference as you step out the door. Temperature will climb rather quickly into the mid-70s this afternoon. Sunshine expected all day today. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps. Still flooding impacting the area. There are some closures on the Beltline ramps in the Middleton area due to high water there. Other roads in and around Dane County that are flooded. Highway 92 in Belleville, 78 in Mazomanie, 69 in Verona and Paoli, U.S. Highway 14 between Middleton and Spring Green are all closed due to high water this morning, or parts of those highways are closed. So again, pay attention. You still may have to route around your typical roads this morning.
There are still a lot of roads closed out there. I mean, even in Madison, it is really rough out there. So be careful as always. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
So we do start the news related to this flooding this hour in Belleville. It's in the western part of Dane County. A number of people who live there are wondering when they're going to be able to go back home after the village's dam overflowed last night. Water everywhere is how it was described. I mean, it doesn't even look normal when you look at the pictures there. Village officials believe the Sugar River did crest last night, though, which means water levels should stay stable at least or even go down. Nobody needed to be rescued, but people were evacuated just to be safe. Now, you just heard Hattie mention this. Highway 69 south of Verona heading into Belleville remains closed this morning.
Mazomanie police say that the Red Cross has opened a second shelter at an elementary school there. At least 100 people are already at the village's fire shelter this morning, fire station, I should say. The police department posted on its Facebook page that there are still areas covered by moving water. 3 boat crews went door to door yesterday trying to make sure no one was actually stuck inside their houses. Unofficial reports show 16 inches of rain fell in that area Monday into Tuesday. Highway 14 from Middleton through Mazomanie all the way to Spring Green is still closed this morning.
Speaking of Middleton, there are a number of businesses there, a number of nonprofits there that are closed until further notice this morning because of the flooding.
And that means thousands of cancer patients and their families are without services for the foreseeable future. Our Josh Breiter is live this morning with a closer look at some of this damage. Josh, good morning.
Good morning, and this damage is just amazing. Take a look at this, you guys. They are starting to gain a little bit of ground. You can see the water line where they started pumping around 1:30 this morning. But if we take a look down there, the water still sits about a foot below the top of the door frame. So just dramatic here, several feet of water in the basement. And to give you an idea of where we're at, we're right next to the Costco in Middleton, which you'll remember those dramatic images from yesterday of food floating down the aisle. I'm told there's still around 5 feet of water down here in the basement of Gilda's. And if you're unfamiliar, Gilda's is a nonprofit cancer support community providing free emotional support, cancer education, and hope for children and adults with any cancer diagnosis and those who care for them. Gilda's currently serves more than 3,000 members whom right now are without that free service this morning until further notice. Of course, Gilda organizers are asking for help at this time, and if you'd like to provide that help, we've posted all of this on channel3000.com, and you can also go to the Gilda's Facebook page or their website. Again, they are closed until further notice, so this is leaving many people very emotional, very upset, very understandably so this morning, guys. We'll send it back to you.
Unbelievable amount of water still in some places. All right, Josh Breiter reporting live. Thank you.
So the Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center is preparing for an influx of wild animals due to all this flooding. The Humane Society says animals including rabbits, squirrels, and birds are particularly vulnerable during periods of heavy rains and high winds. The society says if you do come across an animal you think needs some assistance, you should contact the Humane Society. That number is 608-287-3235.
So we're hoping to learn more this morning about the 70-year-old man who was killed by the flooding on Monday night. Madison firefighters found him Tuesday morning 500 yards from where he had been swept away from his car. 500 yards. That search took more than 13 hours. It appears the man and his two passengers got disoriented in the rain, drove into that culvert there. Madison Alder and his wife, out looking at storm damage, were able to get the passengers out but could not save the driver. Madison's fire chief says this is the first flooding death in the city in recent memory.
Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin and Representative Mark Pocan are asking the president to provide federal assistance to the areas impacted by flooding this week. Governor Scott Walker plans to tour some of the damage today after declaring a state of emergency for Dane County yesterday. He released a statement saying he has no doubt the communities affected by the flooding will be resilient in their response. County Executive Joe Parisi also declared a state of emergency. He's going to join us in our next half hour with more on how that could help people dealing with damage. Madison Mayor Paul Soglin says damage estimates in the city alone are around $250,000 right now, and he expects that number to rise into the millions in the coming weeks. He talked with emergency management leaders and first responders yesterday following that historic flooding, which was mainly concentrated to Madison's west side.
So if you do have water or worse sewage in your basement or any other flood damage at your house, you can call 211 to get help from the United Way. Businesses should call their local government so their adjusters can actually document losses for that possible disaster assistance application. You personally can stay up to speed on the forecast road closures in our area with our Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. It is free to download on any smartphone or tablet.
6:07 right now. A Rock County judge will decide today if there's enough evidence to send a retired police officer to trial for sexually assaulting a teenage girl. Prosecutors say 62-year-old Larry Woods repeatedly assaulted that 14-year-old. Woods retired from the Beloit PD in 2007 and had been working as a security guard for the school district. Detectives say the 14-year-old's mother found inappropriate videos of Woods and her daughter on a cell phone. He is currently out of jail on a $100,000 signature bond.
Lawyers are going to be working today on setting a trial date for the Richland Center man accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. 47-year-old John Elder faces up to 70 years in prison if he's convicted of sexually assaulting the girl during encounters that police say were organized by his girlfriend, 43-year-old Annette Winger. Prosecutors say Winger lied to the girl's caregiver to take her to Elder. Elder was convicted in the mid-1990s for sexually assaulting another girl, served 10 years in prison for that crime. His girlfriend Winger is also facing a felony charge of failure to protect a child.
The State Elections Commission will consider today the recall of a Western Wisconsin district attorney. Trempealeau County DA Tavi McMahon is accused of failing to effectively prosecute cases and comply with legal rules. Trempealeau County is an area north of La Crosse. Now, McMahon is fighting this recall, saying he's proud of his office's work. He called the recall organizers liars. If the Election Commission verifies the signatures turned in by the recall committee, a special election would be called within the next 6 weeks.
8 minutes after 6 right now. Speaking of elections, we should get a pretty good picture of where Wisconsin is heading into the fall's big midterms. We will preview the latest Marquette Law School poll here in a couple of minutes.
Sunrise is officially in about 4 minutes, 6:11 this morning. And the best news of the day is we'll actually see the sun all day. Good thing, because Hattie says we're losing 15 minutes of sunlight every week now. Every week. Everybody, start the exhale. Hattie's First Alert forecast is next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio, where it's definitely a little cooler this morning. Have the jacket on with temperatures down in the 50s, but it feels pretty nice. Take a look at some of the rain totals that we've been adding up. Numbers still coming in, and the National Weather Service is working to verify to see if we officially broke that state record of 24-hour rain totals. They'll get back to us in the next couple of days with that. But here are some of the initial numbers. Over 14 inches are recorded in Cross Plains, over 11 inches in Verona and Middleton, close to 10 in Shorewood Hills, even the Madison Airport picking up almost 4 inches. But quite a range in rain totals just from Madison to the western edge of Dane County, over 10 inches difference in those numbers. Now today, temperatures are going to be a little bit below normal, but it will be very pleasant. Low humidity and lots of sunshine are in the forecast. Temperatures are going to get back into the 80s. Still lots of summer in this extended forecast, with heat and humidity returning this weekend. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam at downtown Madison. Skies are clear here. No issues with fog in the Madison area. Just a little bit of fog developing through the Wisconsin River Valley. A little hazy in Platteville this morning, but otherwise fog is not a widespread issue. Satellite and radar trends will show you that things are pretty quiet around here and expected to remain that way for the next couple of days. Temperatures are in the 50s in many spots this morning. From the northern plains all the way to the Great Lakes, we have 50s early today. 55 here in Madison, 50 in the Dells, 53 in Platteville, and 54 in Janesville. Dew point's a critical number in the summer, and that indicates how uncomfortable it feels with the moisture in the atmosphere. Well, anytime you see dew points in the 50s, you know that it's going to be very pleasant. You're not even going to notice the humidity today. Future Track will show you what to expect today, and that'll be a lot of sunshine. Temps will warm quickly this morning, back into the low 70s by lunchtime, topping at a high of 75 with mostly clear skies. For tonight, temperatures will drop rather quickly with clear skies. We'll start once again in the 50s tomorrow morning. Here's a look at that extended forecast then. We have a high of 77 tomorrow with sunshine. Just as nice a day on the way for tomorrow. A little cooler on Friday. Rain chances return overnight Thursday into Friday, and those showers and thunderstorms will keep temps in the low 70s Friday. We do get back into the 80s, though, after that. Now let's get a check on your first alert traffic this morning with Jason Ryan. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No issues on the Beltline in either direction as we hit the midpoint of the work week. No delays at all from end to end. The interstate and most of the highways are clear of delays. However, Highway 14 West is still having issues with flooding, as well as Highway 12, eastbound ramps at Greenway Boulevard and University Avenue. Highway 69 remains closed both directions between County Road PB and US 151. And Highway 78 closed in both directions between Highway 14 and Highway 19 from Mazomanie out to Black Earth. Your drive time should be relatively back to normal for the most part as floodwaters have receded in most spots, but please be careful if you see any standing water. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Always a good reminder. Jason, thank you so much. Hattie, thank you. We are getting a better idea of what the future of downtown Janesville could look like. Developers shared a rendering of the 60-unit mixed-use building this week. The $10 million project would be built right along the Rock River. The Janesville Gazette reports the building would include some office space for startup companies and a roof deck overlooking the river in addition to all of the apartments there. City officials have tried for years now to build downtown housing for recent college graduates and baby boomers.
6:15. Voters are actually at heading into the November election.
The latest Marquette Law School poll on the race for governor in the U.S. Senate is coming out right around lunchtime today. Christina Laurie is in the news center this morning to preview what we will learn from this month's poll. Christina, good morning.
Good morning, Danica and Adam. This poll comes just a week after Wisconsin's primary election, when high-profile races between Tony Evers and Scott Walker and Leah Vukmir and Tammy Baldwin were set. We should learn today which candidates Wisconsin voters are favoring. An NBC News poll before the primary showed Governor Scott Walker trailing in a hypothetical matchup with his opponent, State School Superintendent Tony Evers. And Governor Walker has said he even expects to be losing in the polls right now. We'll find out if that's the case when the Marquette poll is released around noon. That report is also going to show how voters feel about state issues like criminal justice reform and Foxconn. The survey also asked voters about federal issues like tariffs and the Mueller investigation. And there's a social social experiment question that's been included in this poll for years now. It asks how people are talking about politics with family members and friends, and if those discussions have put a strain on those relationships. It's a good way to know how intense the feelings are here in Wisconsin heading into November. Adam and Danica.
It's always a really interesting stat, that one right there. All right, Christina Laurie reporting live. We'll be sure to have those updates over on channel3000.com as well. Thanks, Christina.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is asking Wisconsin farmers to take part in a survey to help government programs serve them better in the future. This is going to happen this fall. The USDA survey will ask about the number of grain crops that farmers are planting and harvesting in counties across not just the state, but all over the country. The goal is to get a better idea of crop production to help put together more accurate rates for loans, disaster payments, and crop insurance prices for farmers. We should know the results of the survey by the end of the year.
6:17 this morning, and there is a new effort here in Madison to try and help breastfeeding mothers. We'll share how the health department wants to spend thousands of dollars to help new parents and their kids.
And some spots in Dane County were reporting unofficial rain totals of like 16, 17 inches from Monday night into Tuesday morning. We're going to get a lot of that thing over the next couple of days. That would be the sun help dry things out. Hattie's updating the forecast next on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. The sun is up this morning, skies are clear. It's going to be a beautiful day. Take a look at our live shot from the WISC-TV camera looking to the east of the station. We have lots of sunshine in our forecast today. Temperatures are starting out about 10 to 15 degrees cooler in most spots this morning. Here's a look at those numbers. 55 here in Madison, 53 in Platteville and Prairie du Chien, down to 50 in the Dells and Camp Douglas. So noticeably cooler today, but it'll be a quick warm up. Temperatures will climb to highs in the mid-70s this afternoon. Low humidity expected through the day. Another beautiful day tomorrow, but rain is back in the forecast Thursday night into Friday. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Hattie. We will. 6:22 right now. There soon could be a new facility in Madison for moms looking for a private space to breastfeed. The Board of Health, Public Health, that is, for Madison and Dane County will vote on spending $16,000 in state grant money on a pod where mothers can breastfeed or pump. That pod would go into the strip mall on South Park Street. That's just off the Beltline there, where Public Health has a couple offices set up for vaccines, family services, and other testing. The goal is to support a more diverse group of women who choose to breastfeed their children.
That board's also set to approve a future collaboration between the UW Medical School and its future doctors. The school's currently going for a federal grant to help low-income families with health care. That money would come from the CDC and, in theory, pay for maternal and child health services like home visits, nutrition programs. If the UW-Madison Medical School gets that grant, it would work with Public Health Madison-Dane County and start next September and then go for the next 5 years. A Wisconsin board that decides what's covered under state health insurance will talk about gender reassignment surgery today and how that procedure should be part of its plans. A federal judge ruled last month in favor of 2 transgender workers who claimed the state was being discriminatory for not covering the surgery. Consequently, the state can no longer ban the use of Medicaid funds to pay for that surgery.
We want to let you know about a special Facebook Live event we are hosting here at News 3, where you can ask experts about your mental health concerns heading into the school year. This transition can be particularly tough for you and your kids, so our partners at SSM Health are helping out with a free Q&A. This is happening tomorrow evening from 5 until 6. I'll be there moderating the discussion. You can feel free to send questions ahead of time by tweeting them to me, posting them on Facebook, or emailing them to us with that hashtag #TimeToTalk. You can also ask them live Thursday from 5 to 6 during the event.
It's almost 6:24 right now. There are a couple odd crime stories in our area this morning as detectives in 2 cities are looking for the suspects who stole the bases of 50 light poles and, in a separate instance, a $10,000 welcome to town sign.
And Dane County Executive Joe Parisi is here with an update on the flooding and where you might be able to get some help. The day's top stories are next on News 3 this morning. Whenever there's a widespread tragedy, scammers are never far behind. We'll have a warning for anyone looking for help repairing their homes and businesses after the flooding.
And if it's been unusually dark at night in Beloit the last few weeks, it's not about saving energy, but about thieves stealing light poles to sell as scrap metal.
This is News 3 This Morning.
That'll make you go,
Yeah,
interesting.
right.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. 6:27 right now on this Wednesday, August 22nd.
Luckily for Beloit, the sun is back out, so you will not need as much of that light coming from the street lamps there. Let's turn it over to Hattie McLean with arguably the best news of the morning. Hi, Hads.
Good morning. Yes, finally a beautiful forecast coming up. We have no rain in the forecast, so you can leave the umbrella at home today. Low humidity as well, so perfect conditions. Take a live look outside from the Edgewater Skycam. Sun now just getting high enough in the sky that it's starting to shine on some of the buildings in downtown Madison. It's going to be a great start to the day today. You may want long sleeves or a light jacket early, with temperatures down in the 50s this morning, but we'll warm up quickly today. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 75 this afternoon. Here's a look at your traffic maps this morning. We're still dealing with high water on some roads in and around the area, so I wanted you to still be aware of that. You may have to route around again this morning. No major delays on the Beltline, but the eastbound ramps at both University and Greenway Boulevard are still closed due to high water. Also closures due to flooding on highways 92 in Belleville, 78 in Mazomanie, 69 between PB and US Highway 151, and also Highway 14 between Middleton and Spring Green. All of those roads have closures due to flooding this morning. And that's your first alert traffic.
A lot going on. Thank you very much, Hattie. So people in Belleville are wondering when they'll actually be able to go home after a dam overflowed last night.
So village officials believe the Sugar River crested last night, which means water levels should stay stable or even go down. But people there said there was water everywhere. And you look at the video here,
I know.
That seems really clear. As Hattie just mentioned, Highway 69 south of Verona heading into Belleville remains closed this morning. Now, Mazomanie police say the Red Cross has opened a second shelter at the grade school this morning. At least 100 people are already staying at the village's fire department this morning in the shelter there. Police department posted on its Facebook page there are still areas in Mazomanie covered by moving water after unofficial reports showed 16 to 17 inches of rain falling in that area Monday into Tuesday. Again, stress this one more time, Highway 14 from Middleton through Mazomanie all the way down to Spring Green is still closed this morning.
Speaking of Middleton, a nonprofit there that supports cancer patients and their families is spending the morning pumping about 5 feet of water out of its basement. The Gilda's Club location off Deming Way was one of many buildings affected by flooding in that area. The organization is being forced to close during cleanup, leaving more than 3,000 members without its support. So a lot of people are wondering if they need help, can they get help paying for it?
There's a state of emergency in effect right now in Dane County this morning. We wanted to talk to County Executive Joe Parisi about it. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
So, I mean, we're looking at some of this video, and it's just striking images. You had an opportunity to kind of be out in the western part of the county over the last 24, 48 hours. What are the images that kind of stick with you, that stand out?
Well, it's kind of surreal. It's the kind of thing that you usually see on the news happening somewhere else. You know, yesterday I was out in Cross Plains, for example, and you can look over and see a railroad track with nothing under it anymore. We have washed out roads. We have washed out a major bicycle path is washed out. And so it's really something that came upon us quickly. We knew it was going to rain, but who knew there'd be 15 inches in western Dane County. So it's quite shocking.
So this state of emergency, Ms. Parisi, what does this actually mean for you and for the county? And then what does it mean for people who are dealing with some of the images we're seeing right now?
Well, what we want people to do now, if you're a private homeowner and you have damage, give a call to 211. They'll help you with the documentation process, take you through the process, what you need to do. If you're a business, we want folks to call their municipality. By declaring the state of emergency, that starts to set the stage for us to be able to receive help from the federal government. It'll be a long process afterwards. You know, obviously there's a triage that occurs. We have a literal state of emergency. We opened up the Dane County Emergency Management Center a couple of nights ago and coordinated efforts. You know, there's the triage, the emergency, get people rescued, get them to a safe place. But we also have to start thinking about the long run and helping people get the help that they're going to need to recover from this.
You talked about the long process, at least in getting that federal disaster. I mean, we have state highways closed. What's the the process for getting those back open now?
Yeah, well, we'll have to look. The governor's going to be out today touring. We're meeting with emergency management from the state also, and we'll have to coordinate efforts between the county, the state, and the local governments after we assess the damage, because some of those roadways that still have water over them, we don't know the extent of that damage. So there will be an ongoing assessment process. Then we'll have to triage and look for funding that's available.
So if I can just interject real quick, so some of these highways still have water on them? So you haven't even been able to explore yet how damaged they are?
There are certain places, there are certain intersections, even within Dane County, or excuse me, even within the city of Madison, there are certain intersections that have water over them.
What's your next steps? I mean, what are you most concerned about immediately right now this morning?
Yeah, well, immediately, you know, we look to Belleville, we look to Mazamani. We want to make sure that the people who have been forced out of their homes are safe, that they're getting what they need, and that they can be back in their home. But again, on a parallel track, we want to make sure that we're setting people up to get whatever aid may be available in the future to help them rebuild.
That's an amazing video. I mean, thank you for what you do. As you just heard the county executive mention, if your home is damaged from the flooding, you can call 211 for flood assistance from the United Way. They'll help with all of the paperwork. If you're a business owner, you're going to need to make sure you call your local government in the county so they can then document those losses for any possible disaster assistance application. County Executive Joe Parisi, good to see you. I know you probably haven't had much sleep over the last 48 hours. Thank you again. We appreciate it.
Take care.
There are people out there who are willing to take advantage of the flood damage by scamming homeowners out of repair money. Good morning, I'm Leah Lynchide. It's sort of shocking, isn't it, that someone would want to make a profit off someone who's already dealing with so much, but that's exactly what DACAP is warning about this morning. Homeowners who have flood damage should keep an eye out for door-to-door storm chasers, as they're called. They're contractors who do subpar or no work at a high cost. DACAP says these teams come and go without leaving a trace, so you might not ever get your money back if the work isn't finished. So here's how you avoid that from happening. Always be suspicious of a contractor who knocks on your door. Don't hesitate to call police to check them out. Also, hire a contractor based on referrals from friends, and the more local, the better. And get a written contract with a start and a finish date and some warranty information. Now, those are just a couple of quick tips here. We've got a full list of what you should be checking out. That's over on our website, channel3000.com.
A lot of cities in our area, too, you have to get a permit in order to go door to door and do business, so you can always ask to see that as well. Leah Lynchide, thank you.
So if you have anything that has been damaged by these floodwaters, the City of Madison garbage crews will have a special pickup for those items later on this week. Collections will take place Friday and then again on Monday. If you have larger items like furniture or carpet that needs to be tossed, the Streets Division is asking you to contact them so they can actually set up a time to pick those up. You can do that over on the city's website.
So one final note on the flooding, and a lighter one at that. There's a Minnesota meteorologist probably coming down off of the high of having way too many glazers and lots of coffee consumed during the flooding. We're talking about Carol Christensen, who's worked for the National Weather Service over the last 35 years out of Minnesota. So she was just trying to take a vacation with her sister when they got stuck in Cross Plains on Monday night. She said it was the most scared she's ever been due to the weather, the power of the water. So she and her sister wanted to go out to dinner. They ended up, though, spending the night in that Quick Trip parking lot right there on 14. Christensen said she lived her motto of turn around and don't drown. It's a motto she has been preaching for decades.
The Beloit Police Department is asking for the public's help this morning, finding two people who allegedly stole dozens of decorative bases from the bottom of light poles along Prairie Avenue. Detectives say 50 of those cast aluminum bases were sold for scrap over the last few weeks. There is surveillance video showing the suspect's car is a mid to late 90s Toyota Corolla.
So on the weird crime beat, how about this one? The Verona Police Department's asking whoever stole a welcome sign to the city to return it because it's going to cost $10,000 to get a new one. This orange custom-made Welcome to Verona, Hometown USA wooden sign, it was at the intersection of North Main Street and Cross County Road. It was given to the city by the Verona Betterment Organization about a decade ago.
It's interesting what
Just
people will
strange.
take. There you go. The 6:36 right now. Two of the president's former top aides are now facing long prison sentences. We will share the latest in the morning sprint.
And we're hoping to hear from number 12 about how his favorite former teammate, number 87, is now wearing number 82 on the team the Packers are playing later this week. Thanks so much for watching News 3 This Morning. Twenty minutes to 7. Welcome back to the program. The time of the morning we always ask you to share a little bit of your morning with us. And after all the rain yesterday, I figured showers should lead to flowers. So I picked this picture that Chris had posted on our Facebook page of magnolias. Thank you so much for sharing, Chris. We appreciate it.
Man, calling those showers, I think, is a little bit of an understatement right there. But hopefully the flowers can pop up after all of that. Chris, thanks again. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so we can share our favorites every morning here on the program. 6:40 right now, and we are hoping to hear from Aaron Rodgers and other Packers today about playing against their friend and longtime teammate Jordy Nelson later on this week. Nelson will be wearing the number 82 for the Oakland Raiders on Friday night when they host the Packers for this team's third preseason game. Now, Nelson played 10 seasons in Green Bay. It remains one of Rodgers' very good friends. He told reporters that he's looking forward to catching up with his former teammates, and since he's not much of a trash talker, he does not imagine it'll be any different than any other game. Sports director Jay Wilson will have the latest from Titletown coming up on News 3 at 6.
Here's a pretty cool story. The Sun Prairie football team is going to wear special jerseys to honor that city's first responders in their home opener Friday night against Beloit Memorial. A number of first responders are going to lead the team through the stands onto the field to start that night. Volunteer firefighter Corey Barr, you may remember, died last month responding to a natural gas leak that destroyed a number of buildings in downtown Sun Prairie.
That might be my favorite story of the morning.
Nice decision by the kids there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we are looking at a really nice day weather-wise. If that's not my favorite, the weather forecast is my favorite. I think we have earned this. You can feel and see the difference when you go outside for the first time today. Hattie's going to let us know how long this will all stick around when News 3 This Morning continues.
First, though, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV, help you all celebrate right here on News 3 This Morning. Taking a live look right now on the west side of Madison. Hey, look at that. That would be the sun. We should get a pretty good opportunity to dry out over the next couple of days. Hattie's first alert forecast is coming up here in a couple of minutes.
Great day to get outside, and Madison is being named the best place in the country for playgrounds this morning. That's according to new data from the Trust for Public Land, which looked at the best amenities in the United States and how much is being spent on parks across the country. Along with the #1 ranking in playgrounds, Madison came in second for disc golf courses, third for the number of basketball hoops, ice rinks, and pickleball courts here, and fourth in the community garden plot category. Now, the group also found that the city has 283 parks, and about 90% of Madison residents live 10 minutes or less from one of those parks. That is great news with this forecast today, Hads.
It is. Meet you at the pickleball court later on today. We have a beautiful forecast to go to any of those parks. We've been kind of feeling a little bit tropical lately, so let's start with tropical weather. This is Hurricane Lane, churning in the Pacific, recently upgraded to a Category 5 storm. Now, it is going to get very close to Hawaii. Not common for Hawaii to see a landfall of a hurricane, but it will come close, especially as we go towards late Friday and early Saturday. The hurricane is expected to weaken a little bit, but bears watching through the rest of this week into the upcoming weekend. Once again, can't look at this shot enough. The WISC-TV Skycam live look from the east, or looking towards the east from the west side of Madison. Sun is up, skies are clear this morning. As we zoom the map out, really have a tough time seeing any significant cloud cover in the area. A little bit of high-level cloudiness off to our west, another bit of clouds to the north. Neither of those batches of clouds will bother us today. GFS Future Track forecast model, though, starting Thursday. Wanted to let you know of a rain event coming up late Thursday night. Some rain is expected to move into the area from the west. Now, this is an event for the entire state, northern and southern Wisconsin. Chances for rain continue right through the day on Friday. So we are going to pick up additional rainfall as we go through the rest of this week leading into the weekend. Here is the precipitation potential. Anywhere you see this blue shaded area, that's about ½ an inch of rain, up to about an inch in some spots in our western viewing area, especially as you head towards west central Wisconsin. So not good news, but at least we have a couple of days to dry out in between now and then. Sunshine this morning with temperatures in the mid-50s. Dew points are down in the 50s as well, so it feels very comfortable this morning. Take a look at those numbers across the area. The Dow's back up to 52, but still 50 in Camp Douglas, 51 in Lone Rock, and 55 in Janesville this morning. Dew points are down in the 50s everywhere, so we're not dealing with humidity today. Your Pinpoint City forecast highs today looking pretty comfortable. 74 in Fort Atkinson, Evansville, and New Glarus topping at 74 degrees as well. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 75 in Prairie du Chien. Muscadet tops at 76 today. And to the north, Baraboo will hit a high of 73. Poinnette tops at 74 degrees. Here in Madison, we're looking at a high of 75 degrees. Lots of sunshine, low humidity. That weather pattern sticks around through Thursday. Then on Friday, we do have chances for showers and thunderstorms in the area, but it warms up quickly for the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at our Pet Walk forecast. Love this picture. That's a big pup. Vicky tubing with her pup. How fun.
Life is good.
I'm not sure who's having more fun there.
Right. All right, thanks, Ads.
You're welcome.
No traffic on the water, but we'll get a look at traffic in the morning sprint. That's next on News 3 This Morning.
6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Hattie says we're going to see some much needed sun today after the serious flooding we've been experiencing. Leah has tips on avoiding scammers who are trying to cash in on that damage.
Josh Freiter's in Middleton reporting on a nonprofit that helps cancer patients that's now trying to get feet of water out of its basement. But we start in western Dane County, where the people who live in Belleville are wondering when they're going to be able to go back home. The village's dam overflowed last night. Evacuations were in effect. Village officials believe, though, the Sugar River did crest last night, which means water levels should stay stable or even go down. Nobody needed to be rescued. People were evacuated, though, just to be safe. Highway 69 south of Verona heading into Belleville remains closed this morning.
Mazo police are posting on Facebook this morning that a second shelter has been opened up at the elementary school there. At least 100 people are already at the village's fire station this morning. The department says there's still moving water in many areas. Boat crews went door to door yesterday trying to make sure no one was stuck inside their houses. An estimated 16 inches of rain fell in that area. Highway 14 from Middleton through Mazo all the way to Spring Green is still closed.
I'm Josh Freiter live at a Middleton nonprofit this morning, which is closed for the foreseeable future after the severe flooding. Crews are spending the morning pumping about 5 feet of water out of the basement of Gilda's Club. The nonprofit supports thousands of cancer patients and their families who are now without that free service this morning. Gilda's just celebrated its 10th anniversary. If you'd like to help, you can find more information on how to do so at channel3000.com.
With any tragedy like the flooding we've seen this week comes scammers trying to make a quick buck off of it. DACAP is warning of fake contractors who might be going door to door to try and sell repair work without actually doing the work. Here's how you can avoid that from happening to you. Call police to check up on anyone knocking on your door. Hire local contractors based on referrals from friends, and always get a written contract with start and finish dates and warranty information. For more advice, you can head over to our website, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Leah. Governor Scott Walker plans to tour some of the damage today after declaring a state of emergency in Dane County yesterday. We just heard from Dane County Executive Joe Parisi, who's hoping to get an idea after talking with the governor how soon they can reopen some of those state highways that are still closed. The governor said yesterday he has no doubt that the communities impacted by the flooding will stay strong as they're recovering.
And you can leave the umbrella at home today. No rain in our forecast. We're starting off comfortable this morning. 50s across the area, 55 here in Madison, 52 in the Dells. Temperatures are expected to warm quickly today. We'll head to a high of 75 degrees with sunshine and low humidity through the day.
Thank you, Hattie. To politics now, and the president's longtime personal lawyer's out on a $500,000 bail after admitting in federal court that he worked to cover up alleged affairs during the campaign. Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to 8 felony charges yesterday, saying in a couple of cases he paid money to 2 different women ahead of the 2016 election. Cohen claims the payments were made, quote, at the direction of a candidate for federal office. He faces up to 5 years and 3 months in prison when he's sentenced in December.
The president's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, is facing significant prison time as well after a federal jury convicted him on 8 of 18 tax evasion and bank fraud charges. All of the crimes occurred before Manafort was involved with the president's campaign. He will be back in court on more criminal charges next month. CBS This Morning will be live at the White House with the very latest just after 7 o'clock.
We'll soon have a sense of where Wisconsin voters stand heading into the November election. The latest Marquette Law School poll on the race for governor and U.S. Senate's coming out at lunch. The poll comes 1 week after Wisconsin's primary election, where the high-profile races between Tony Evers and Scott Walker and Leah Vukmir and Tammy Baldwin were set. Governor Walker has said he expects to be losing in the polls right now. We'll find out if that's the case when the Marquette poll is released around noon.
Thank you, Christina. Madison Metro says the number of security incidents on its buses is down more than a third compared to this time last year. Drivers reported 182 incidents involving fighting or disruptive behavior from May to June this year. There were nearly 100 more security incidents over the same time frame last year. The agency does not have any specific reasons, though, on why those numbers have gone down so significantly.
Madison and Dane County's Public Health Department is preparing to help in the event of a national emergency. Tonight, board members will discuss a memorandum of understanding between the department and the Air National Guard's 115th Fighter Wing. That agreement says both agencies can help deliver medications, shots, units of blood, and other sensitive material in the case of an emergency.
6:56 right now. Still a number of major state highways closed around western Dane County. Let's get a check on your first alert traffic with Jason Ryan. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. The Beltline's still clear of any delays this morning both directions. Interstate, most highways are also issue-free, but remaining floodwaters have some roads still closed. Highway 12, eastbound ramps at Greenway Boulevard, University Avenue. Highway 69 remains closed in both directions between County Road PB and Highway 151. Highway 78 closed both directions between Highway 14 and 19 from Mazomanie to Black Earth. And downtown, east side, west sides, no problems. Drive time should be back to normal as possible today, but again, be careful to avoid any standing water, and if a road is closed, turn around and find another way. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Good advice. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
And our favorite polar bear is already in the pool today. We have pretty nice conditions, a great start this morning. Our temperatures are starting in the 50s, but will warm quickly. Highs will be at 75 this afternoon with mostly sunny skies.
You will definitely want to keep an eye on that Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app, not for the radar today, but for when all those roads will be reopened after this flooding. We'll be sure to have updates throughout the morning and throughout the day. Thanks for joining us.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.